Hello everybody, this is Napa Fan here, and this is race number 9 in season number 8 of the NOFSRL Chick-fil-A Cup Series. We are here at the Richmond Raceway for the Norfolk Southern 400. It's 80 laps of action around this .75 mile racetrack in Richmond, Virginia. I'm alongside Alex Boxinger for this one. It's a short track where passing isn't too frequent, but it's still possible. So what do you say to guys who are kind of midway through the field? How do you get to the front of the field here at Richmond?
Well, honestly, it's a mix of many different things at this track. I mean, it's a .75 mile track, a little bit of a tri-oval. This track is very complex, and starting from the midfield, there's a lot of passing opportunities, if I'm going to be honest, at this track, because while it's .75, it's also very spread out. It's a very wide, short track, so you could probably see maybe 2 or 3 different grooves here tonight. You could probably see drivers going 3 wide, or maybe the even, very, very slim 4 wide.
And if we get 3 or 4 wide here at the Richmond Raceway, lots of times it does not work out. So you got to watch out for that. That's another factor. And another thing you got to think about is this track is so short, and a lot of the wrecks take place off at turn number 4, which means that the leaders could be coming back around to take the caution flag, and that wreck is still there, and they could run into the back of that accident. So gotta watch out for that. These guys gotta be careful when the caution does come out, because you might have a hard time avoiding accidents here at the Richmond Raceway. But either way, we shouldn't have too much of a concern on the pit stops. It's only going to be a one-stop race, only unless we get a quick caution and they come down early. But hopefully that will not happen, and we should expect these guys to make one stop here in this race and avoid any issues that we had last year where the caution came out when we had the green flag cycle of pit stops, and we ended up with a completely different winner than what we probably should have. But either way, we're ready to get this one going. This is how they line up in the points standings coming to this race after 8 races last week. At Rockingham, Mark Davidson did a really good job, and he continues to hold on to the points lead. 259 points towards the championship for driver number 95. Emily Anderson's been doing a great job as a rookie as well. Her first season in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, she's second in the points after 8 races, only 14 points behind. Diego Pez, the highest veteran in the championship standings, 25 points behind. Nicholas Samedillo, only 34 points behind, and rookie Sebastian Cucalon has been doing a great job for Titan Fury Motorsports, only 38 points behind coming into the 9th race of the season. This the Norfolk Southern 400. Justin Roberts in the number 38, starting on the pole position for American Motorsports. Their team owner, Trey Wright, won this race with his driver, Al Agassi, in season number 6. They feel pretty good about Justin Roberts starting on the pole here tonight. We'll have to see if the veteran driver can get his 4th career Chick-fil-A Cup Series victory. Alongside him, it's the car that won this race last year, John Andrews, driving the 04 for Wade Enterprises. John Stewart won this race last year after a caution came out during the green flag cycle of pit stops. It put him in the perfect position to come home with the race victory. John Andrews looking for his first career Chick-fil-A Cup Series race victory here tonight. Atlanta winner Nathan Baird won that race back in February, is alongside Stephen Thompson for Outer Island Motorsports. He's been doing a great job as an uncharted driver this season. I believe this is his 5th race in the first 9, so he's been doing pretty good in the uncharted qualifying session. Silas Orta alongside Garrett Sonor, who finished 2nd last week at Rockingham. He also won this race, I believe, in season number 3. Got Sebastian Cucalon and Carter Friesen, then Nathan Stapleton and Roger Ray rounding out the top 10. We're ready to get this one going. Pace cars down the pit lane. Justin Roberts and John Andrews, green flag at Richmond.
And coming to the end of lap 1 here, Justin Roberts currently leading the race. Doing a very good job so far, performing very well here in this race for the Norfolk Southern 400. Currently still holding on to the 1st position and gaining a little bit of a gap here on 2nd place.
Baird right there in the 2nd position. A great start for him. John Andrews, he gets stuck in the outside lane here. You go nowhere. Tough thing about Richmond, then you see John Andrews and Stephen Thompson trying to find a hold of the inside. Silas Orta, Sebastian Cucalon moving their way on the inside lane. And Nathan Stapleton in the number 28 up to the 5th position. He has had one of the most miserable starts to a season anyone has ever seen. But here he is with a great shot at victory as he is currently running in the 5th position. Mark Davidson, our points leader. You can't stop this guy. He's now in the top 10 to the inside of John Andrews for the 7th position. Looks like Stephen Thompson's going to file in for 6th. But Andrews still stuck on the outside. How about Ace Garcia moving his way through the field in the 81? He's to the inside of Tristan Allen as they file through single file in the top 10 positions. Justin Roberts pulling away right now from Nathan Baird, looking to grab his first win of the season and his first win for American Motorsports. 2nd place, changing hands as Silas Orta goes to the inside of Nathan Baird for the 2nd position.
And what a great move done there by in this race. I mean, he made that pass and he did really well. Now, hopefully he can gain that momentum going through the pass and now going to try and chase down Justin Roberts for it. But I also want to take a shout out here to Stephen Thompson, number 97. He so far worked his way into the top 10. And he's doing a very good job so far considering the amount of bad luck he's had this season.
Yeah, as an uncharted driver, though, in those uncharted qualifying sessions, he has anything but bad luck because this is his 5th race of the season, more than any of the uncharted drivers. But in the races he's qualified for, hasn't been the best of luck for him, and he's going to get passed right there by points leader Mark Davidson. Mark Davidson's been doing a great job as a rookie driver, but he's yet to win a race this season, which is rather surprising considering how strong he has been. He's going to move to the 5th position right there for Tanker Motorsports, and 14 points ahead of Emily Anderson heading into this race. If he finishes where he is right now, it's going to be more than that heading into Talladega 2 weeks from now. Of course, next week we got a break with Easter weekend coming up, but we'll be back in 2 weeks for one of the better races of the season at Talladega. Of course, this is going to be a great race here, especially if we get a caution. Things can really shake up if we get a caution. We've got a lot of passing going on back in the field. Nathan Stapleton looking to get to the inside of Ace Garcia. It's Alexander Rowe right behind him right there. And this is just inside the top 10. Got Carter Friesen currently in the 10th position as John Andrews falls back in the 04 after starting on the outside pole. He has not been able to find that inside lane yet in this race.
Yeah, the way the battling has been going on so far in the top 10, it just kind of shows you that these drivers in the top 10 so far, they want to go out there and they want to try and go for the win. As, man, what a little bit of a slide up there from
Alexander Rowe and Carter Friesen got into it, and they almost slid into the outside wall. You got to be careful here, Richmond, because if you go around, you might cause a huge accident. You got Jesse Turner here on the inside. Last week's winner, Brad Stover's up here as well. Watch out for some possible 3 wide here. And we got some with Michael Canto, Lucas Jacobson, and Wyatt Quayle midway through the pack. This could be an accident if they're not careful. 3 wide here is a little bit tough to handle. Gotta watch out for these guys, and a lot of them rookies. Hopefully they won't wreck. Canto almost getting into Jacobson there. And Wyatt Quayle in a very bad position. Andrew Miller into Jacobson, but they're going to keep it together for now on lap 13 of 80 at Richmond.
Man, they were just about to go 4 wide there, and I was going to be a little bit concerned about that because I was going to think, like, man, if they're going to go 4 wide, then that's bound to be a wreck that's going to occur. But so far for right now, they've done pretty good. They've done pretty good in my opinion. They've gone caution-free, doing pretty well. Here's a 3-wide battle here between Stover and others, and it looks like Stover's just kind of getting freight trained there on the outside. As you said before, the outside, not a really good place to be here at this track.
That's Trey Bartow on the inside there. We got more 3 wide, and we're focusing on this because these guys are sliding up the racetrack off the corner quite a bit. And if they don't slide up correctly, they could collect some guys, and Yepes going to back it down a little bit as Kimnicki rolls to the outside of him, but that's midway through the pack. Back up front, Justin Roberts has led every lap so far, and that's a lot of bonus points for Roberts. Of course, 2 bonus points if he leads the most laps in a race, and have to see if he can pull it off here tonight for American Motorsports. But you gotta remember, we will have a set of pit stops in this race at some point throughout the event, and if this thing stays green, they're going to be green flag stops. But if we get a caution anytime soon, it might be a perfect opportunity for these guys to come down and service their race cars for the first time here tonight. And it looks like Mark Davidson is going to get around Sebastian Kukulon for 4th. Davidson is just on rails. I don't know how else to describe how good he's been doing this season. Of course, he started on the pole last week at Rockingham, finished exceptionally well there. Now here he is in the top 5 at Richmond, but he's going to get passed again by Sebastian Kukulon. A couple of rookies going at it for the 4th position. But Roberts has it pretty easy right now. Salasorda is trying to close in, but it's a little bit difficult to close in when you got nobody going alongside the guy in front of you, so we'll have to see if Salasorda can close in here soon. He's been doing a great job in the number 88 this season, but so far he's been hanging in the second position right behind our race leader, Justin Roberts, who has led every lap so far here tonight at Richmond, almost a quarter of the way through the Norfolk Southern 400.
And as you were saying before, Mark Davidson being the points leader, I mean, I think that's kind of helping him there this weekend, as he's thinking to himself, like, you know, I'm good on points, I want to try and continue gaining this points lead. So he's kind of just really driving it here tonight, making sure, like, hey, you know, we're doing pretty well here, and we got to continue moving forward. And, I mean, I've seen that once before.
Yellow on the racetrack.
Oh, wow.
And a stack up off of turn number 4. And this is what we were concerned about in this race. Riley Spurley, John Evans Skimnicki is junk. And it looks like Fitzwater was involved. Matt Dalio, Christian Master, Nicholas Samadeo might have gotten caught up a little bit. Emily Anderson and Matthew Phillips there. Cody Sill all torn up. And Texas winner Andrew Ross with damage. Wyatt Quayle as well. And like I said, if a caution came out, a huge opportunity for these guys to come down and service their race cars. But the thing is, they might have to come back down again before the end of this race. Now, of course, we might end up with another caution. But this is pushing a little bit. I don't know if these guys will be able to make it to the end of the race with where they're coming in right here. It's 60 to go as these guys come down. What do you think is going to happen, Alex? Will we see another set of pit stops in this race?
Well, honestly, right now, I mean, it all depends. I mean, we gone, what, almost 30-plus laps without a caution?
20.
20. So, I mean, it looks like now with a good portion of cars already eliminated out of the field, potentially eliminated, I might add, this might actually help some drivers a little bit more kind of realize, you know, we got to be a little more spread out. We got to not be so clustered. And hopefully we'll have a longer green flag stint where these drivers will have to start concerning a little bit, like, you know, okay, you know, we got to put strategy into play.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it all goes down. Justin Roberts won the race off with Salasorda. How about Ace Garcia? Talk about another guy having a tough season. Garcia's 38th in the points coming into this thing. Well, he's now running 3rd with Nathan Baird and Steven Thompson, the top 5 off the pit lane. He's going to stack the field up, and Justin Roberts is going to have to race pretty hard to keep the race lead. Sebastian Kukalon did not get a good run off the pit lane. Neither did Carter Friesen or Nathan Stapleton. Wondering if they played a little bit of strategy and maybe took some tires. I don't know. We'll have to see how that all plays out. But either way, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the first caution of the night in the Norfolk Southern 400 at Richmond. This is a very long and extended accident. Garrett Senor pushes up into Zachary Fitzwater. A couple of 8-season veterans getting at it. And Andrew Ross nowhere to go as Fitzy goes around. That is what triggered the caution initially, but all these guys are trying to avoid the accident, and they go all over the place on the racetrack, I believe. We see one of these guys hit the pit road wall. And I forget who it was. But you see all these guys scrambling. They're on the apron, coming right to the pit road wall here, and I think it's Wyatt Quayle who hits it dead on, comes back up in the Skimnicki, Riley Spurley, Alonzo, Daniel Voiles, and a couple guys spinning with Cody Sill, and Andrew Ross ran right in the Skimnicki. Skimnicki got some air, a little bit of damage on John Arndt, a little bit of damage on Emily Anderson. Matthew Phillips, Cody Sill, Nicholas Samadeo, and Matt Dalio just got spun around along with Christian Master, but that's going to take out a couple guys, and a lot of these guys like Master, Samadeo, and Dalio, they'll be able to continue, but Wyatt Quayle's going to be done, Cody Sill's going to be done, and Skimnicki's definitely going to be done at the end of this one.
Yeah, quite an ordeal here between Senor, Fitzwater, and many others. And as you can see, everyone's just starting to check up, and it's just unfortunate. Nowhere to go. And you can see right here, Zachary Fitzwater double dips and wrecking. Comes into that wreck a little bit, kind of just skins. But yeah, that's unfortunate for a lot of these guys, you know, taken out from having a good opportunity to win a race today.
Of course, a lot of these guys are back in the field. Tough break for guys like Riley Spurley, who's last in the points. I mean, he's yet to get a top 10. I believe Fitzwater, Spurley, and Stapleton are the only guys who have yet to get a top 10 this season, and they were all, or two of them were involved in something, and Stapleton had trouble on the pit lane. So Didn't work out for any of those guys under that caution. We'll see here what happened with Nathan Stapleton, because he, along with Kukulon and Carter Friesen, all came off the pit lane really late. I'm wondering if our race leaders took fuel only or not. It wasn't paying too much attention. No, they took tires. But it does appear that Stapleton, Friesen, and Kukulon, they were all on each other right here on these 3 pit stalls, and I'm wondering what happened that caused them to be so far behind, because they're all going to get their stops done like everybody else. But they all just sit there. A little interesting. You know, these racetracks sometimes do not have the best of runs on those pit lanes. I mean, some of these newer racetracks have some pit road issues. We might have just seen one right there. It's a tough break for those guys. They got stopped on the pit lane. And I'm wondering if Kukulon had a problem. No. It's just really strange. They're all on each other, and they all have a problem right at the same time when they're all 3 next to each other. Very, very strange, but that's just NR pit lanes for you. Some of these just don't work out too well, and there's not much we can do about it. Fortunately, none of them are going to go a lap down. They're just going to be on the tail end, or not on the tail end, but at the end of the longest line, so they'll be right along with everybody else, and everyone who's still on the lead lap, still on this thing. You never know what's going to happen, but I will say Justin Roberts is going to be pretty hard to beat here today. He's led every lap so far here in the Norfolk Southern 400. Let's see what he does on the restart here at Richmond. We're back to racing here at the Richmond Raceway for the Norfolk Southern 400, race 9 of the season. 2 weeks from now will be at Talladega. Going to be a completely different race than this one, but this one just got a little interesting with the caution coming out there with 60 laps to go. It came down the pit lane. We don't know if they'll be able to make it to the end of the race without another stop, so we'll have to see how that all plays out. But either way, Justin Roberts leads the field with Silas Orta, Ace Garcia, Nathan Baird, and Stephen Thompson. Back to racing, lap 25 of 80 at Richmond.
And Silas Orta got a really good restart there on Justin Roberts, and looking off the turn here, it looks like heading into 3, he might have a shot going to the lead here, but he thinks better of it. He's going to sit back in as Justin Roberts continues to lead here in the Norfolk Southern 400.
Great run for Justin Roberts here tonight, trying to get that extra bonus point for leading the most laps, and more importantly, get the race victory for American Motorsports. It'd be American's 2nd win of the season if he were to get it. Of course, Josh Marzak won the Daytona 500 at the top of the season. And speaking of Marzak, he's in the top 10 as well, to the inside of Stover. He's putting the bumper to the 99, last week's winner, right to the inside of him right there. And he's moving his way through the field. Here at Richmond, Jesse Turner's in the top 5 right now, as it's still Justin Roberts, Silas Orta, Ace Garcia, and Nathan Baird, the top 4. Take a look and see who got knocked out in that accident. A couple guys a lap down. Andrew Miller, Matthew Phillips, and Riley Spurley, and then Andrew Ross, Cody Sill, Daniel Voiles, the 26th of John Evans Skimnicki, and Wyatt Quayle all out of the race after that accident. And we got Matthew Phillips coming out on the racetrack here right in front of our leaders. This is going to get a little interesting right here.
Oh dear, this might put some questions of if the field's going to be broken up or not.
I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case. Looks like Phillips is going just as fast as everybody else, but Roberts might still have to pass him, and that's going to be difficult because he's got Silas Orta right behind him, and Orta is ready to strike whenever Roberts makes a mistake. That's kind of how Richmond is. Of course, a lot faster than Martinsville. It's a little bit easier to make a pass here than it is there, but you see how easy it is to keep the lead, and Roberts has done so for 30 straight laps here at Richmond, but he's trying to get around Matthew Phillips. He moved up the racetrack just slightly, and here comes Silas Orta. He closed in quite a bit there, and he might have a shot in the 38 here in the next couple of laps. Oh yeah, he's got a run. Beast Racing trying to get their first win of the season, and it might just be the rookie driver who gets it for him.
I mean, anything's possible here, and looking at what Orta's doing, I mean, he's trying his best, but as you can see now, Justin Roberts is going to get around the lap car here. That's really going to kill Orta's momentum that he gained up. But at the same time, earlier, about the lap prior, he was also losing some ground, so who knows, maybe now with the lap car holding up Orta, Roberts might get the opportunity to pull away a bit more.
Well, Orta's going to drive right by. Nathan Baird got around Ace Garcia for 3rd, and now Baird is looking to the inside of Orta here. He's all over the back bumper of the number 88. He's going to have a run entering turn number 1. And Nathan Baird might have a shot at this victory here tonight. He's got a fast number 40 for Kinghart Family Racing. How about John Andrews? He fell back initially, but he's moved himself back inside the top 5 for Wayne Enterprises. Great run for the 04, and Jesse Turner's up here as well with Brad Stover. 97 of Stephen Thompson, on the 75 of Daniel McMillan. 3 of the Outer Islands Motorsports guys right there on the inside lane inside the top 10, with Alexander Rowe rounding out the top 10 in the 06. Ace Garcia now on Silas Orta. I believe Silas Orta might have used up his tires just a little bit there. He's fallen off the pace a little bit. Now falling to 4th, but Justin Roberts still unbeatable on the number 38 as we're closing in on halfway here in the Norfolk Southern 400.
Yeah, the way that Justin Roberts is leading today, I mean, all I could say about it is that it's just sheer dominance today. You know, the way he's been performing, he's led from the green flag, and, you know, the team have really pulled out all the stops today. I'm going to really be honest with you, and they're doing a fantastic job so far.
Justin Roberts trying to get his first win since Armory Digital last year. I want to forget that race, but Justin Roberts doesn't. Got 3 wins in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. His first came in the second ever Chick-fil-A Cup Series race at Atlanta in season number 1. For second, Ace Garcia, Nathan Baird. Garcia moving his way through the field very well now. Toyota is the only manufacturer yet to win a race this season. Dodge, Ford, and Chevy have all won at least 2 races so far, but Toyota has been shut out. There are 3 teams: Hamill Racing Enterprises, Outer Island Motorsports, and Zidell Motorsports. None of those guys have won a race yet this season, but Ace Garcia currently running second, hoping to close in on race leader Justin Roberts. Nathan Baird here now in 3rd, Silas Orta still in 4th. John Andrews could not get around Matthew Phillips completely, so he is going to fall back slightly. Stephen Thompson's in 6th, Brad Stover, Alexander Rowe, Jesse Turner. How about Trey Bartow, Mr. Norfolk Southern fan himself, inside the top 10 for Titan Fury Motorsports.
Yeah, I mean,
Yellow's back out.
Well, Yellow.
And Seth Cole is junk in the number 83. Fisher G in the number 6 as well. Alonzo with some damage. Mitchell Henderson might have gotten caught up in this one as well. And just before the halfway point of the race, we got ourselves our second wreck of the race in the Norfolk Southern 400. Oh boy, I mean, these guys got to be careful going through that wreck right there. I believe the leaders avoided it for the most part, but they're trying to figure out where everyone's supposed to be here. We'll see if these guys come down the pit lane. Now, Justin Roberts has led every lap in this race, but he's far from winning this thing because we've seen a lot of passing back in the field. It's very easy to close up on the guy and pass him. It's just Justin Roberts has been that dominant in this race so far, and they're going to cross halfway on the pit lane here. Now, this should confirm they should be able to make it to the end of the race without having to come down again, so thankfully we won't have the pit road issues, but could see some strategy here. Might see some guys possibly stay out, and that's where it gets very interesting if we get people to do that. But it's hard to tell right now with some guys a lap down. So we're just going to focus on Justin Roberts right now. Looks like it's going to be another 4-tire stop for the number 38 team. Looks like John Ears gained some damage as they were coming through that wreck right there in the 04. Tough break for Andrews, but he's still up there inside the top 5. Hopefully that will not affect him. Of course, you saw Bristol, the real-life Bristol race. Kyle Busch won after he gained damage in that race really early on in the race, actually on the first lap of the race, and he still won the race. So John Andrews going to be 4th off the pit lane, so he should have a shot at this victory, but Justin Roberts still won the race off. We'll have to see what he does on the restart, but first let's go ahead and see what happened to bring up the second caution of the night here in the Norfolk Southern 400 at Richmond. Well, 3 wide, entering turn number 3, Mitchell Henderson, Josh Marzak, and Seth Cole. And Marzak getting on the Henderson, Seth Cole an innocent victim in the 83. Tough break for Seth Cole. Almost had the win at Rockingham last week, but came down too late, and Brad Stover got the race victory, and they all went into the outside wall right there. That's about it for this accident. I think some guys slipped, and this is what happens here at Richmond. When an accident happens, these guys slip right off the corner trying to avoid it. Tristan Allen went around, Christian Master, Emily Anderson, here Delarvin Alonso, Stapleton ran right into Fisher G. I think Fisher G got log jammed, and that's what caused all his damage, and Sam Adia ran right into Emily Anderson there. John Arndt and Roger Ray in the back of the field. Tough break for all these guys involved because they had this one avoided, but they lost traction on their race cars exiting the corner. But either way, that's just the way it goes. In turn 4, the trouble spot here at Richmond here tonight.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what to say here other than squeeze up and a hit. And very unfortunate for Josh Marzak in this one. And whoa, okay, that was close. Emily Anderson getting a piece, and that's unfortunate for Emily Anderson right there. She's been having a fantastic rookie campaign so far this season. And just being caught up tonight, bad luck.
And this is what happened to John Andrews. He's actually going to gain a position after all this because I think he got so... Oh, that's what happened. Silas Orta ran right in the Riley Spurley, and Orta's going to be done. Oh, that is such a tough break for him, and this is what we mentioned at the top of the show. These wrecks, they kind of happen right off of turn 4. These guys are racing back to the line. They're coming in full speed on these guys. And that's what happened to Orta, and unfortunately his day is going to be done after running top 5 most of this race. Such a tough break for Beast Racing, trying to get their first win of the season. By this time last year, they already had 2 wins. As a matter of fact, their only 3 wins last year came with Zachary Fitzwater. Both William Brock and Tristan Allen went winless last year, but Silas Orta has been showing a lot of strength this season. He's just unfortunately not been able to capitalize on that number 88. But either way, Justin Roberts has led the entire first half of this race, but don't tune out, because it's going to get interesting here with this restart, and he is far from winning this thing. But if he were able to hold off everybody in this race, it'd definitely be a hard-earned win, because I think it's pretty tough to go flag to flag in one of these races. But Roberts might do it. We're just going to have to find out when we get to the restart here in the Norfolk Southern 400 at Richmond. Back here at the Richmond Raceway, Norfolk Southern 400 action here on this Friday night. We'll be off next week for Easter, and then 2 weeks from now we're going to be back with racing at Talladega. But right now we got an interesting one here. Lap cars in front of our leader, Justin Roberts, with Ace Garcia, Nathan Baird, John Andrews, and Stephen Thompson. The top 5, Andrew Miller and Matthew Phillips ahead of our leader. Looks like Roberts going to get to the inside of Miller pretty well here, but he's going to hold him up just a little bit, and Ace Garcia might try to get the outside lane to work on the 38. Going to get tight here. They're all on each other for the race lead, but Roberts continues to dominate. He's going to get an extra bonus point for leading the most laps in this race because he's led all of the laps so far up to this point. But will he get the race victory? That is the question. Ace Garcia closing in. They're jamming it up back in there. Garcia trying to get around Andrew Miller. A little bit slow right there. John Andrews for 3rd on Nathan Baird. Baird slipped up. Here comes Stephen Thompson and Alexander Rowe in the 06. Garrett Sonora's in the top 10 now in the number 16. Yeah, they're all on this 38 now for this one. He's not pulling away like he was earlier on.
Hey, I mean, maybe he's just sitting back, playing a little bit hard to get. Maybe he's thinking, like, I've been leading for most of this race. Let's have some of the top 5 have a little bit of a work in.
Ace Garcia trying to close in. He's going to overshoot the corner, and John Andrews is the guy moving his way through the field. And Justin Roberts going to lap the number 15 of Matthew Phillips, and that's going to make it even easier for the 38 to pull away with this one. The racing for second in this race has been absolutely unbelievable. It's been great, but nobody has been able to get to our race leader, Justin Roberts, in this thing, and I'm wondering if anyone will get to him before the end of the night. We have 29 guys on the lead lap. Silas Orta's out, Josh Marzak, Seth Cole, and Mitchell Henderson all out of the race, along with Fisher G from that last accident. How about Stephen Thompson? He just filed his way to 2nd ahead of John Andrews. Nathan Baird, Brad Stover's up here. Julius Anderson and Matt Dalio in the 79, who almost won this race last year. He's in a battle with Aaron Walpole last year for this thing. But a late caution during green flag pit stops took him out of contention and didn't get that race victory. It's been almost 2 years since Matt Dalio's even won a race on Napa Fin. Here he is, currently running 8th, with a good shot at possibly getting this win if these guys can close in on the 38. Stephen Thompson to the inside of Matthew Phillips.
Man, look, I mean, Stephen Thompson this year, you know, like I said before, with all the bad luck he's had in the races, just to see where he is right now running P2, he's doing a fantastic job tonight. I mean, this is probably one of the better runs he's ever had. And I mean, I'm not even... And to move from Stephen Thompson for a second, let's take your hat off to Brad Stover here, running in 3rd. He's more like a midfield to, like, back marker side, and he's running up in 3rd right now. He's doing a great job.
Brad Stover has won 3 times in this series. I wouldn't necessarily call him a back marker, but one guy you got to watch out for is Matt Dalio. He is clawing his way through this field like crazy.
Stover and Thompson for the lead, or for 2nd.
That's Stover taking it away from the 97. Like I said, they've been passing for second place like crazy. We've had so many different guys be second in this race. But nobody but Justin Roberts has been in the race lead here tonight. And Roberts is just putting on a clinic in that number 38. And another yellow. Diego Yepez, and that is not what Justin Roberts wanted to see, but that's exactly what Brad Stover wanted to see. And another quick yellow here at Richmond in the Norfolk Southern 400, but thankfully it doesn't look like it was a huge pile-up, just a couple guys getting caught up. Oh, our points leader, Mark Davidson, with some damage. It might have been a pretty big pile-up. We got Carter Friesen with damage there, Patrick Smith, the Phoenix winner. I don't know what to tell you. Justin Roberts has been doing a great job holding on to the race lead, but he's going to have to keep on working for it, and I have a feeling at some point somebody's going to get around him for that race lead before the race is over.
Yeah,
either way,
it's possible.
Don't think they're going to come down the pit lane here. They're good to go on fuel, so that's how they're going to stay throughout a majority of the race. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring up the third caution of the night here at the Richmond Raceway. And Patrick Smith's not going to be too happy with a fellow named Hergel Irvin Alonso. Alonso getting right into him down the front stretch. And Smith got shot up into the outside wall. Mark Davidson, Diego Yepez, and Carter Friesen have absolutely nowhere to go. Alonso gets caught up significantly, and Davidson with a lot of damage as our points leader. That's not at all what he wants to see being the points leader. Remember, he's only ahead by 14 points. But Yepez, 25 points behind him, also in the championship battle right now. He also got caught up in that one, so it might not hurt Davidson too much, but tough break for those guys. About a 5-car incident, but they drove away from it, and that was about it for the third wreck of the night at Richmond.
Yeah, just straight dump truck right there for Alonso and Patrick Smith. Patrick Smith, I mean, getting dump trucked by Alonso right there. Just, I don't know. I don't know if that was uncalled for or not. I mean, I believe it was uncalled for. Just because I get it. Either that or, like, maybe Alonso got a good run off the turn and just wanted Patrick Smith to go. I don't know. But I think it was uncalled for.
Well, the game controls everything, so you can't get mad at these guys individually, but yeah, it was probably uncalled for in real life, so tough break there for all those guys. Because Alonso got caught up in it as well. So it didn't work out too well for anybody involved in that deal. But either way, this race got more interesting. Now Brad Stover's been clawing his way through the field. And Brad Stover's known for just getting these wins just like that out of nowhere. He won last week trying to go for 2 in a row. Will he do so in the number 99, or will Roberts pull away again? Don't think we're going to have anybody in front of these guys, so it's going to be a mano-a-mano battle between all these guys for the top position. Let's see what happens on the third restart of the night in the Norfolk Southern 400 at Richmond. Back to racing. We'll be here just about 30 seconds. Justin Roberts continuing to lead every lap so far in this race. And while that might seem like, you know, he's never going to lose the race lead, gotta tell you, this restart's gonna be critical because Brad Stover, Stephen Thompson, Matt Dalio is fourth, and Julius Anderson, the top 5, they're all gonna have a shot at him. Ooh, Stover's gonna back off just a little bit, 21 to go. And Stephen Thompson might have a shot on the 99.
I mean, this race so far has been pretty good, and the battle for second has always been heated. But I feel like the driver running in second right now is probably the most hard-working driver right now because it has to fend off the others. Because, I mean, look at the leader. If you look at Justin Roberts all race, he has basically been in his own postal code compared to second and third place. And, I mean, like I said, second place right now is probably the driver that has to work the hardest to defend the rest of these guys off.
He probably is. One thing I'm going to mention right here, Otter Island Motorsports has all 4 of their drivers in the top 10 right now. Stephen Thompson leading them, and Matt Dalio, Jesse Turner, and Daniel McMillan back in there as well. They're having a pretty good night here at Richmond, and they've been all over the place on the racetrack. And this thing is still far from over for Justin Roberts. I know it might seem like he's going to pull away with this thing, but Stover's closing in here. You know he's got a fast race car. He was able to fend off Stephen Thompson for the moment. And they are slightly closing in on the 38 here, so we're going to have to see if Stover's going to have a shot at this race victory for his second straight win in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. Dalio a little bit loose off the corner. He's back on the inside trying to get around Julius Anderson, Nathan Baird, Ace Garcia, both in the top 5 right now as Roberts continues to dominate the Norfolk Southern 400.
I mean, I'm just thinking about it right now. Like, is it possible that Brad Stover and Stephen Thompson are actually battling, or are they actually working together, drafting each other to see if they could be able to catch up to Justin Roberts? Because, I mean, I know this ain't a super speedway, but, I mean, anything is possible here.
Yeah, I mean, if they're going to be going side by side, they're going to be going much slower than Roberts will be, so they might be trying to avoid that, so they're going to have a shot on Roberts, but it's 16 to go. I mean, time is running out for these guys, and Roberts has just been unstoppable here tonight. We'll have to see, though, if Stover can close in on these final few laps. We might end up with another caution. I mean, we've already had 3 of them. They've been a little wild here tonight at the Richmond Raceway, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got another one.
Ooh, the 3 wide there. I didn't like the looks of it.
We're keeping it together for now.
Yeah.
Not many guys left on the lead lap in this thing because of all the guys who have been involved in accidents. We only have ourselves 28 drivers in the lead lap. I thought we had a lot less than that, but apparently we still have 28 guys in the lead lap. That's interesting. Brad Stover closing a little bit that last lap, and Roberts is not pulling away like he was the past few times. We'll have to see what this 38 can do. Stover a little wide through the corner. That's not what you want to do.
No,
and
not
you know
at
what
all.
Stover needs is for Roberts to make a mistake like that, like Stover just did right there. Ace Garcia
well, I mean, the way
wide.
Justin Roberts... the way Justin Roberts has been running all race, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's likely, because he's been hitting the apex and turns every single time. So it's possible that, you know, a slip-up like that is slim to none at this point late in this stage.
Yeah, it's only going to happen if he runs into lap traffic, and Diego Pez is coming off of turn number 4 right now, so I don't think they're going to run into him before the end of the race. But I mean, Justin Roberts at this point, you want to get the race win. You've been this dominant the entire way through. You don't want Stover to come and get that race lead right at the end. I mean, the thing is, the possibility is still there. I mean, Stover stole the win away from Seth Cole last week, and I think I'm seeing things. Caution is not out. Phantom caution there, messing me up.
Phantom caution.
10 laps to go in the Norfolk Southern 400 for Justin Roberts in the number 38 in American Motorsports. For Justin Roberts, he won twice last year, same with Brad Stover. If Roberts were to win, he'd be the second driver who won a race in Season 7 to win a race this year, and the guy who has already done so is right behind him, trying to get his second win of the season. But the gap between Roberts and Stover has pretty much stayed the same this entire run, and only unless Roberts has a major slip-up or we get a caution in these next couple of laps, Justin Roberts is going to be in victory lane for the first time this season here at Richmond.
Yeah, I mean, the way Brad Stover has been performing today has been a great job so far today. And I mean, the way Justin Roberts has been performing today, I mean, there's no other word I can say other than dominance. And the way Steve Thompson is right now, running in third, he's put on an impressive performance today. You know, there's a lot of good people here, and I'm not saying that they're not mentioned as much, because they are, but usually some of these drivers that aren't usually mentioned often, they're usually up front, like the occasional Brad Stover, or even like Stephen Thompson, who's had bad luck this past season. No, they're up here and they're fighting for it. They're going to try and go all out, try and win the race. We have a battle going on here for fourth. I think that was between Nathan Baird and I cannot see what that other person is because I have blurry vision right now.
That's Julius Anderson there, the number 22. Anderson's teammates going to the inside of Ace Garcia. They're practically single file throughout the entire field right now, but you still get these battles like this to occur. McMillan's going to get on Michael Canto. And we're within that window. If we get a caution, the race is going to be over. However, Roberts is closing in here on Diego Yepes, and Stover has the closest gap he has had this entire run. Roberts has got to be careful here, because Stover is ready to strike. 4 laps to go at Richmond for Justin Roberts, but he's going to have to deal with Diego Yepes. I don't know how this is going to shake out here. To the inside, Roberts going to try to get to the inside. He couldn't do it. He had to brake check it.
Oh, man.
And he's still behind him. He's going to get around him there. 3 laps to go for Roberts. Stover is going to get around 92 a little bit easier, I think. But he did lose some ground to the 38.
Don't forget, we also have another lap car in front of them.
That's Riley Spurley in the number 39. We'll have to see if Roberts gets held up by the number 39. Doesn't look like he will. Going to be an easy pass for Roberts into the corner. 2 laps to go. Stover's going to try all he can, but I don't think he's going to have enough for the number 38, who has led every lap here tonight at Richmond. He's going to take the white flag for American Motorsports.
Man, this has been a race.
And for second, Stephen Thompson on Brad Stover.
Man, let's see if Stephen Thompson can get him. He wheeled off the turn only just, but look at that. Stover's fighting back on the outside. Justin Roberts may be winning, but we got to keep on this battle for second.
Justin Roberts gonna win. And Brad Stover nipped Stephen Thompson at the line for second. What a performance by Justin Roberts. Was not expecting that one here tonight. But I gotta tell you, he earned this win for American Motorsports because these guys were coming at him. They were battling for second like crazy. And if they didn't battle for second the way they did in this race, I think Justin Roberts would have had a little bit of a different story here tonight. But every lap led by Justin Roberts. The first time that has happened in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series in quite some time. Roberts getting it done here tonight at Richmond in the Norfolk Southern 400 after he won the pole last night. What a way to get the victory for Roberts. He's going to get a full load of points here for his 4th career Chick-fil-A Cup Series victory.
He knew how to get it done. I mean, he pulled out all the stops tonight, didn't run it wide, didn't do anything that would have potentially messed up his entire race. But, you know, I mean, that's the thing that you got to be here at Richmond. You got to be very consistent, fast, and, I mean, Justin Roberts filled that criteria tonight.
He did. A very interesting race nonetheless, even considering he dominated, led every lap. That was probably about as good of a race you can get with that happening because we had so much going on behind him. And Brad Stover ends up with the 2nd position. Stephen Thompson, Nathan Baird, Ace Garcia, and Julius Anderson. The top 6, McMillan, Canto, Turner, and John Andrews rounding out the top 10 here tonight. Great run for Garrett Sonor. After he finished 2nd last week, he's going to back it up with an 11th place finish. He's been doing pretty good as of late. Great runs for Ace Garcia as well. I mean, haven't talked about him too much this season. Been really deep in the points, but he got a top 5. I believe it's his first top 5 of the season. But Justin Roberts getting it done here tonight. The 2nd ever winner on Napa Fan gets his 4th career win here tonight in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series at Richmond. Take a look at the rest of the results. Mark Davidson finished 26th. Might be his worst finish of the season. And you see all this guy is getting knocked out from accidents as this one went along. Silas Orta, Josh Marzak, Seth Cole, Mitchell Henderson, Fisher G, Andrew Ross, Cody Sill, Daniel Voiles, Jonathan Skimnicki, and Wyatt Quayle all failing the finish here today. 26 guys finishing on the lead lap here tonight at Richmond. What do you make of this one? It was probably the, I don't know, I wouldn't want to say the most boring race we've had this season, but definitely the most dominant race we've had this season, but still a great one nonetheless.
I mean, yeah, you know, we haven't had too much action, which is not too bad. I mean, we only had about 3 cautions tonight. Yeah, and even then, I mean, you know, 3 cautions is, I consider it a good race for a lot of these drivers and a lot of these teams. And for some of the people watching this, it's not going to be a complete wreck fest. But at the same time, yeah, you had Justin Roberts, who, as I said, you know, he dominated this race. But at the same time as well, what made it very interesting were the people battling for second, battling in the midfield, and all these types of passes that were going on. I think it made it a pretty interesting race tonight.
It definitely did. If only those battles for second were for the lead, this would have been probably the race of the season. But Justin Roberts, you know what? He don't care. He just got himself another Chick-fil-A Cup Series race victory, and he's one of those old-school guys. First old-school guy, really. Actually, Skimnicki was also an old-school guy, Season 1 guy, so it's the second guy who raced in Season 1 to get a win this season. Justin Roberts getting it done here tonight at Richmond. Okay, we're going to be off next week for Easter weekend, and then we head to Talladega, and that's a guaranteed good race. You know it's going to be wild, you know it's going to be crazy, and you know anybody can win from wherever they start. The Mountain Dew Kickstart 500. We're going to have some fun on the high banks 2 weeks from now. I'm looking forward to that race. And we had the Dover, which might be very similar to this race, and then the races start to get pretty good here in the Chick-fil-A Cup. You head to Kansas, That's always a great place. North Wilkesboro for the first time in the Coke 600. Got a lot of passing, especially at Kansas and Charlotte, and these races are just going to start getting pretty good. We had a lot of these short tracks at the first part of the season. The second half of the season is going to have a lot better racing than the past couple of races. But hey, you know what? I like races like this occasionally. It's good to have a race like this, and I think Justin Roberts is pretty happy that we had a race like this because he just grabbed a win, and that means quite a bit when you get one in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series. His fourth here in this series. Congratulations to Justin Roberts once again. Here are the point standings after 9 races in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series season number 8. And that is it for me. So we'll see you 2 weeks from now at Talladega. Until then, keep it easy and, yeah, don't get bored. I don't know. I really don't know what to say anymore. That's how low-key this race was. But, hey, we'll definitely pick it up at Talladega. It's going to be a fun one there. On behalf of Alex Boxing, thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys later.